The Chargers affirm that Keenan Allen isn't going anywhere. The Galaxy look in-house to fill a designated player spot, and the Lakers will not go quietly into that dark night. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It's March 2nd, 2023. I am in a basement in Portland, Oregon. In the middle of the night, going to take the red eye back, a little disoriented. Before the plane that I'm getting on goes wheels up, let's talk LA sports. If you like the content that we put out, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It lets you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. It's the way I keep my eyes open in the middle of the night. Before we go through the news and notes, quick look at the scoreboard. Give the Lakers credit. They didn't have Anthony Davis. Did not have LeBron James. They did not have D'Angelo Russell. And they were playing on the second night of a back-to-back. And they still beat Oklahoma City 123-117, which matters. Oklahoma City is ahead of them in the chase for at least a spot in the play-in tournament. Dennis Schroeder led the Lakers with 26 points. Meanwhile, today we got a pretty good looking schedule for LA teams. Arizona State's at UCLA, fourth-ranked UCLA. That game is at 6 o'clock. So the Bruins have already wrapped up the Pac-12 regular season title, whatever the hell that means. But what would be worth playing for at this time of year? How about a top seed in March Madness, particularly in the Western bracket? Meanwhile, 8th-ranked Arizona is at USC at 8 o'clock. Now, the Trojans do have something to play for. We don't know if USC is a bubble team. We don't know if they're one of the so-called last four in, first four out. They're just kind of in this sort of nebulous nether region, the taint of March Madness, if you will. But if the Trojans can pull this one out, that would give them 2 wins over top 10 ranked teams. That's a resume builder. The Clippers are playing Golden State at 7 o'clock. Clippers still in search of their first win with Russell Westbrook in the roster. And Montreal is playing the Kings at 7:30. We do not know, by the way, if the players that the Kings have traded for over the last couple of days, we don't know if they'll be on the ice tonight. Chargers general manager Tom Telesco just quashed any speculation like a bug on whether or not the team is going to let wide receiver Keenan Allen go in a salary cap move. Telesco said Allen, quote, isn't going anywhere, unquote, which is interesting because for those of you who follow the Chargers and do follow the salary cap in the offseason, and they're $21 million over the cap. Having cut Keenan Allen, if they had chose to do that, would have saved almost $15 million. That goes a long way. But I also understand to an extent the Chargers' point of view. On the plus side to cutting him, you save a lot of money, and Allen did miss 7 games last year with a hamstring issue. So is it possible that Allen is starting to slow down now that he's in his 30s? That's one side. The other side is this. Allen's just one of the most productive wide receivers in the game. It's just that simple. In 10 years, he has caught 796 passes for 9,000 yards and 52 touchdowns. That is extremely productive. So I understand why they want to keep him. I understand why they are adamant about keeping him. But you know what? What are the Chargers going to do? Brandon Staley gave an interview. He's saying how happy he is with the roster despite the salary cap. Well, it's easy to be happy with the roster now. You guys haven't had to make any painful cuts yet. You have until March 15th to do it. So it was very interesting because the way I'm reading those quotes, and I know Brandon Staley is not a stupid man. I'm not trying to say that. But surely you must know you're going to be getting rid of real contributors in the next couple of weeks. Real difference makers. There was a hint in his interview, though, about how the offense might run next year. Offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, Staley said that he wants Moore to use Justin Herbert a lot more like Dak Prescott in Dallas. Moore is the former Cowboys offensive coordinator. What that appears to mean is don't be surprised to see Justin Herbert running a lot more bootlegs, a lot more rollouts next year. So that's a development. The NFLPA, which is basically the players' union for NFL players, they grade all teams on how they treat their players, which kind of is going to matter in player free agency. They survey 1,300 players, and the Bolts got a report card you don't want to bring home to mom. It's kind of concerning, actually. Now, to be fair, I think the Chargers getting a bit of a bad rap. They are working out of a temporary office, temporary facilities for the players. They haven't built a brand new fortress for practices. Hell, even the Rams haven't built their new place for practice yet. But getting an F- for the training room is pretty harsh. The tubs in the training room. Notice I said tubs. I did not say sauna. I did not say steam room. It is a tub. It has been described as gross. So guys, you might want to invest in a good old industrial strength cleaner and a couple of Brillo pads. You don't want your players getting MRSA, for Pete's sakes. Other grades that the Chargers got: D- for treatment of families. Treatment of families? Are you hitting on the baby mamas? What are you guys doing? F for nutrition. Are you handing out Snickers? What is going on with the Chargers? D- for the locker room. I don't know how to answer that stuff. I just don't. The Chargers, decent roster, way over the salary cap. Everybody loves the quarterback. Everybody thinks the jerseys are great. But why would you want to take a jump into a tub that apparently looks like a petri dish? No thanks. Hard pass. Ricki Puig, as anticipated, will get a DP spot on the Galaxy roster. Now, for those of you who don't watch a lot of MLS, what a DP is, and the MLS teams get 3 of them, it's basically a way to circumvent the salary cap. It was invented over a decade ago in order to help get David Beckham into the Galaxy and into MLS. So this way you sign more talented players. Galaxy fans had hoped that they could keep Puig on a lower level contract, use that designated player spot to attract a higher end talent and make a super team. Here's the thing: Puig is an MVP candidate. I get the idea that you kind of want to make the Galaxy the Miami Heat back when LeBron James was young. That's not going to happen. You want to keep Ricki Puig. Puig came over from Barcelona. Puig is part of arguably the best midfield in MLS. So yeah, it makes perfect sense that Puig gets the DP spot. Meanwhile, Galaxy manager Greg Vanney has reprimanded Chicharito for giving an injury update on social media. The striker said he is not traveling to Dallas this week for LA Galaxy's belated season opener, if you will. Vanney basically called him out because he wants to be in control of the injury intel that gets let out to the press. And I got to tell you, I see the point to a little extent, but come on. Hamstring. Everybody pretty much had an idea that it was going to be a long shot for Chicharito to play. Is it really that big of a deal? Whatever. Are you like me? Are you having trouble figuring out what the hell we're going to get with the Lakers? And I don't think the Lakers are being as sneaky as, say, Greg Vanney and hamstrings here. We don't have enough information as to how long either LeBron James or D'Angelo Russell are going to be out. You take last night, for example. Anthony Davis missed last night's game. It was an aggravation to the foot injury that he had earlier this year. He missed 20 games due to a right foot problem. So Darvin Ham held him out of last night's game because he said the players said that they didn't feel right. It was a precautionary move, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with it. I would rather you have him out for one game as opposed to another 20. Mo Bamba, by the way, started for Davis last night. But again, you tell me what you think about the Lakers' chances. Oh, they absolutely have a good chance, in my arrogant little opinion. But then you go and you run the numbers. The Lakers, in my opinion, got lucky last night. Oklahoma City was the perfect opponent for them without LeBron, Davis, or Russell. Why so? Because the center for the Thunder is 6'9". This is a short basketball team. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, their leading scorer, didn't play. So they could afford to roll the bones and have Davis in street clothes last night. But then you start running the numbers. You do. We do know that LeBron is going to be out for at least 2 weeks, and then he gets reevaluated. We believe D'Angelo Russell. We don't know. It could be a week. It could be literally the rest of the regular season. The Lakers have 19 games left in the regular season. So let's say for a moment that LeBron misses only 2 weeks. That's going to be 7 games. Now you're looking at 12. If it's a month, which is also a distinct possibility, now you're talking about 14 games, which means James would come back with 5 games left. And by the way, I've been reading medical reports, not on Russell, but medical journal updates on how long somebody should be out with a certain type of injury. With what little we know about D'Angelo Russell, he could be out literally from 1 week to 6. So there's that. So what do the Lakers have going for them, aside from Anthony Davis? Well, March, the majority of the games that they have are at home. And they're very competitive over at Crypto.com Arena. You get James back after 2 weeks. You have a healthy home schedule. I think that team gets in the play-in round at least. Getting to the 6th spot, this is just me speculating. If James is out for longer than 2 weeks, kiss the number 6 role goodbye. That's all I can say. If you have a better idea, by all means, let me know. We talked about the Kings trades last night, sending Jonathan Quick over to Columbus. That wasn't the only one. The Kings have now traded for another goaltender, Eric Portillo from Buffalo. They sent a 2023 third-round pick over to the Sabres for it. Portillo, by the way, is still in college. I have no idea if he's the goalie of the future. What I do know is that despite the Kings having one of the deeper farm systems in the National Hockey League, it's a solid prospect group, but they have no elite goaltenders waiting in the wings. They're rolling the dice. Maybe Portillo can fill that role. He was called the 7th best prospect for the Sabres. Also, we had been talking about Rangers defenseman K'Andre Miller, who was caught spitting on Drew Doughty over the weekend. Miller was suspended for 3 games, which, okay. It doesn't impact the Kings. That game is done. The Dodgers have a 4-man battle for center field now that Cody Bellinger is playing for the Cubs. You could say that Trayce Thompson is the incumbent, but there's also Jason Hayward, Chris Taylor, and prospect James Outman. You can recall that before spring training, Dave Roberts said he has no idea who is going to get the gig. All I can say is we've been reading a lot about Hayward's reinvented swing, how Outman may or may not be this elite prospect. So because of those 2 things, the ifs with those other 3 players, I'm guessing it's Trayce Thompson's job to lose. Taylor, frankly, is probably going to get a lot more looks at the infield, considering the injury to Gavin Lux. You tell me if you think I'm wrong. The Dodgers did sign a shortstop, by the way, Bryson Brigman, but that was around the time that Gavin Lux did get injured. I wouldn't put a lot of stock into it. I haven't read anything that says that guy is going to be making the big club. I'm thinking he's just going to be a AAA guy. Finally, Trevor Bauer had a defamation suit against the website Deadspin. That's been tossed. Bauer has filed 6 such suits in the wake of all the stories that were written about a sexual assault charge that never saw a court of law. 3 of those defamation cases were dismissed. I'm just simply saying it as an update. Once again, I am not saying a damn thing about Trevor Bauer. Otherwise, I don't want to get sued. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. You let me know if you want to get sued. Let me know what you think about the Kings or the Lakers' chances. Or for that matter, how would you get the Chargers under the salary cap? If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports from sea to shining sea every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corta El Queso production. Take care.